What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pot. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Woman says, I've dated bad boys my whole life, but tried to give a good guy a chance and it ended horribly. He didn't put me in my place. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
After all the bad boys that I dated, I thought, you know what? Let me just date the good guy. And that didn't work out because I felt like superior to him.
There was no sexual polarity.
It just didn't work out because I felt like I was the boss. I felt
Did you find yourself snapping on him and getting a little bit more disrespectful than you normally would?
Very.
That's typically what happens.
Yeah. And I did things to him that I wouldn't do to Katie. And it's unfortunate because he's a good guy. He didn't do anything to me. The problem is that he didn't put me in my place when he should have, whenever that was supposed to happen. At some point in our relationship, he didn't put me in my place as the woman, as his woman, and he didn't show me that he can lead. So I felt like I was leading the entire household when it's really supposed to be him.
All right, guys, you guys heard it for yourself. She says, I was dating bad boys my whole life and decided to give a good guy a chance, and he didn't put me in my place. And that was the reason why we didn't work out. And what do you think about that? Comment down below. Here's what I think. There are one of two reasons why the good guy who she claimed that she dated didn't work out. I'll start with that first reason, is he wasn't a good guy. Being good and being moral doesn't necessarily mean that you are unable to put a woman in her place. Again, just because you're a good guy, there are plenty of good men out here. You can say, you know what, that's a good guy. But they're not afraid to put a woman in their place. Who she's describing here sounds like a nice guy. There are people out there who don't understand that there's a difference. There's a big difference. There will always be a difference. And if you think there's not a difference, reality and women will show you that there is. Chances are if she was dealing with a nice guy, he was a guy who was trying to appease her and did not have any self-respect. And she says, I wanted him to put me in my place, which here's the truth. Any man in his right mind would not deal with a woman like this. Because in my opinion, I don't think she was dealing with a nice guy. I think she probably found a good solid dude who thought that he could change this woman because maybe he thought she was very attractive. Men make that mistake too. Why do men make that mistake? Well, a lot of guys out here lack an understanding of female nature. They don't know how to look at a woman and believe her for who she reveals herself to be. Again, they want to love that woman idealistically. They believe what comes out of her mouth. I'm ready. I'm looking for something serious. I want something healthy. I've been with a-holes my whole life. If she admits that to you, that's a red flag. You know not to take that woman seriously if she hasn't gone to therapy. I think what's more likely is she ran into a good man, but just because you ran into a good man, it doesn't mean that you are good for that man. A lot of women don't realize the type of damage that they do to themselves, their psyche, by involving themselves with a bunch of pookies. You think you can just go out here, date a bunch of guys that are not good for you, and then just say, okay, now time for a good guy, and things are just gonna work out? No, you're gonna be unable to be in a situation that's healthy because you're used to chaos. And I bet you, in her mind, to live with herself, she's not going to call herself chaotic and say, oh, I'm used to dysfunctional relationships. No, she's going to justify it by saying, you weren't able to put me in my place. What's put you in your place? Well, everything that Pookie was doing, right? Intimidating you, yelling, screaming, going upside your head. A lot of these women, to them, that's what they interpret as like, oh, he put me in my place. But as always, guys, internet reacted, had a lot to say about this situation. Let's check out these comments. First comment here comes from a gentleman and it says, sometimes men get tired of putting women in their place. Easier to just free him. Another comment here from a woman says, sounds like she's toxic. Exactly. I agree. Next comment here from another woman says, he didn't put me in my place as the woman, as his woman, meaning he was not the leader. She goes on to say, him not taking the masculine role and placing her as the feminine forced her to be in her masculine. You can be nice guy and a leader. When a woman realizes her man is not a leader, it's a really sad and frustrating moment. No. Nope. You can't be a nice guy and be a leader because nice is relative. That's based on how people perceive you. I use this example all the time. I ask people, was Jesus a nice guy? And people will say, oh, of course he was. Yeah, if he was, then why did they kill him? And people almost can never answer that question. Well, they killed him because they thought he wasn't so nice. But he wasn't worried about pleasing people. He was worried about upholding a standard. Of course, whether you believe in the Bible or not, the lesson is there. He upholded a standard, and if they disagree with that standard, you would be labeled as toxic and horrible, right? Just like many men today who speak out for what's right. You can't be a nice guy out here pleasing women and be a leader. These are the contradictions that women want you to believe. And of course, the blame is on the man. A woman who's dated nothing but toxic men her whole life is the problem. You don't just jump into a good man's life and think that things are just going to work out for you. No, you need help. You need therapy. Another comment here from another man says, bottom line is women like this confuse leading with verbal abuse and disrespect. Come on now. Exactly what I was talking about. She clearly wants a toxic relationship where she's allowed to act up and wants a man to act up with her, but more aggressively. Hard pass. That's facts. 500 plus likes. This guy gets it. And those people who like that comment, I'm sure you guys probably agree. She's used to those pseudo-masculine qualities that women interpret as strong, but inevitably lead to destruction, which is why she's running to good men now. Next comment here says, now she got 3 baby daddies and a single mom. Shit. Next, this woman says, point is she wanted an alpha male. Too many beta males commenting on what they can't understand. Well, I can tell this is a dumb comment. She goes on to say, women want to be bosses at work, with their kids, etc. We want men because we are tired of having to be one. Get it? Okay? These women want to be bosses, entrepreneurs, executives at work, and think that they have the type of self-control to turn it off when they get home. If you're not leading the way she wants you to lead, then you're not an alpha male. Next comment from another woman says, so did you want him to slap you around? Because I'm confused. That's what she wanted. Another woman responded to her and says, I guess when she got disrespectful, he didn't correct her behavior per se. He just took the disrespect. She resented him. Yeah, he's wrong for even dealing with the woman like that, but it could be a lack of knowledge, guys. There are men out here who don't understand, like, hey, believe a woman. Why would you want to deal with the woman with first of all, multiple kids, who says, I've dealt with negative men my whole life? And listen, respecting yourself and how to deal with a woman like this is simply walking away. Simply walking away. Next, another person here added to the thread and says, then they go with the aggressive men that's putting them in their place, in quotations. Then they complain about the cheating and toxicity. If they don't want good level-headed men, then deal with the aggressive men and stop complaining. A woman should be feminine and shouldn't need a man to put them in their place. You should always know your place as a woman. Yeah. Women will act up. Right, you're going to have to put every woman in her place, even the feminine ones. It's just what it is. These are women. But this is true. Women who are out here saying, I need a man to put me in my place, most likely she's the problem and she's the toxic one. Our final comment here from a man says, so y'all cry when a bad ninja puts y'all in check or be aggressive, but when it's a good dude who doesn't try to be as aggressive and tries to talk things out, y'all feel superior to them. Lord, this is confusing. Yeah, again, when a woman's dealt with that many toxic men, she is the one that is damaged. Guys, curious to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. I appreciate y'all for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.